Prime Minister, you were in Scotland yesterday for a flying visit in what seemed almost like a valiant attempt to drum up opposition to your deal. Scotland will be worse off because of what you propose. The Scottish Government reckon it could be up to £1,600 per person for every Scot. We didn't vote to leave the European Union. Apparently now 70% of people want to stay. Why should Scots even start to think about getting behind your deal?
This is a good deal for the whole of the United Kingdom. If you look at what we've seen in Scotland, we've seen this being supported by the Scottish Fishermen's Federation, by the National Farmers Union of Scotland, by employers like Liaison. Where I was yesterday at Bridge of Weir, we were discussing their supply chains across Europe, the importance of no tariffs. The political declaration is clear: no tariffs, no quantitative restrictions, no rules of origin requirements. These are good for employers across Scotland. We went into the EEC as the whole United Kingdom, and we will be leaving the European Union as the whole United Kingdom.
It's not supported by most Scots. 70%, according to the latest opinion poll, opposed this. Every single local authority area voted to remain in the UK, remain in the EU. Is a message from Scotland to you: now is not the time to be leaving the EU to make us poorer?
We have negotiated a deal that will be good for jobs and good for the Scottish economy, and that is reflected in the remarks that have been made by, as I say, employers and other organisations in Scotland. Scotland is part of the United Kingdom, and what is, of course, most important for the Scottish economy is its continuation inside the internal market of the United Kingdom.
Well, why did you reject so utterly every representation that was made to you by the democratically elected Scottish Government to try and soften the political impact to Scotland? You've looked at issues across what you call the family of nations of the United Kingdom, and all of them have managed to secure some sort of differential deal and agreement which sort of matches their own specific population and economic profile. Why was it all right for every other part of the UK family, but it wasn't all right for Scotland?
No, well, first of all, I'm afraid I don't accept the premise of the question that you've given to me. What we do have is particular arrangements for Northern Ireland, because Northern Ireland is in a different situation from any other part of the United Kingdom, because it will have a land border with a country that is a member of the European Union. We have also the other two protocols which are specific to the wider United Kingdom family, the protocol in relation to Gibraltar and in relation to the sovereign base areas on Cyprus. It is not the case that every single part of the United Kingdom or the United Kingdom family has a specific arrangement made for it.
Well, it almost seems like it is to us. Can I turn to immigration? And I think one of your most, the one you've achievement about this deal you've most crowed about, I think, is the ending of freedom of movement. Now, Scotland's population growth is almost totally predicated on inward immigration. It's absolutely vital to our population demography and to our economy. Can I just get this absolutely abundantly clear that what you will be doing is stopping people below a threshold of £30,000 from coming to the United Kingdom, and that will mainly be what you call people with lower skills and young people at the beginning of their careers? Is that roughly the understanding of what you're trying to achieve by ending freedom of movement?
No, what we're doing is delivering on the vote that took place. Ending free movement, I believe, was a key issue for many people here in the United Kingdom, and we will be ending free movement. We'll bring an end to free movement. What this will enable us to do is to put into place an immigration system which applies to the whole of the world outside the United Kingdom. Up until now, we've been able to have immigration rules for countries outside the EU, but not for countries inside the EU. We will be able to have a single immigration system that covers all of those. We asked the Independent Migration Advisory Committee to look into this issue, to consider the shape and form that such an immigration system should take, taking into account the requirements of the UK economy. They did that, and their proposal was that rather than having a Tier 2 cap, a number set, which we've had up to now for outside the European Union, we should move to a skills-based system, and with the proposed salary threshold, which would determine those skills.
That's really, really helpful, but it's a reciprocal agreement. So what we do to European Union nationals, they will do to us. So that means that people with low skills from the United Kingdom, young people at the beginning of their careers, will equally not be allowed the same rights of access to the European Union.
No. Well, first of all, you've jumped to an assumption there. What I was talking about was the immigration system that will be independently put into place by the United
but my
Kingdom
question
government.
is, Europe will do to us what we do to them.
Well,
Is
you're
that
making
correct?
an assumption. I have to say, I don't think that the
So you're expecting young Brits to go abroad as they have just now?
Well, we've been looking at a variety of issues in relation to young people particularly. One of the areas that we've looked at is the sort of programmes such as Erasmus, which have enabled the students to take advantage of membership of the European Union. But if you look at the section within the political declaration, you will see that, of course, we will be looking at the mobility arrangements that are in any trade
the case,
agreement.
Prime Minister, that the rights that you and I had to live, work and love across a continent of 28 nations is going to be deprived to our young people because of your obsession with immigration?
No. And I refer you
How
to
not?
Article 53. The parties agree to consider conditions for entry and stay for purposes such as research, study, training and youth exchanges.
So you're not ending freedom of movement then?
Yes, we are ending freedom of movement. We are ending freedom. What freedom of movement gives automatic rights to people living in the European Union that are not available to people outside the European Union. In future, we will end that automatic right that comes with free movement. What we will put in place is our system of immigration rules, which will apply across all countries, and it will be skills-based rather than based on the country that somebody comes from.
Will be applied from the European Union too?